Hi there everyone, and welcome to our staff operations webinar. My name is Chelsea and I will be guiding you through today's webinar. And the goal is really for you to understand the basic day-to-day operations of using Lightspeed Golf at your facility as an employee. So what you should be doing on the day-to-day, checking out golfers and all that. If at any point you do require any assistance during this webinar, please reach out to our support team. They're at the bottom right of your screen when you're logging into Lightspeed Golf or Retail. Just let them know you're having issues with the webinar and they'll be able to instruct you on what to do next. Now, in terms of where you are in your onboarding, you are at the staff operations training, so we are getting towards the end. I hope that the experience has been good thus far. So today it's really just about the day-to-day and just making sure we know what we're doing. And then as you see, really the agenda is booking management. So the tee sheet, how to make bookings, how to check out golfers, making those basic sales, refunds, exchanges, and what to do for opening and closing. So that's what we're going to kind of tackle today. And if at any point you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But if not, we'll get started and we'll make sure that we've got you all covered. So logging into the platform, this is what you're going to see when you're logging into Lightspeed for the first time. I have my username already there. I'll put in my password. Now, what's really important to note, if you're using both the tee sheet and the retail point of sale, you can link your logins together as an employee. So if you go ahead and click on golf, you can see I already have Lightspeed retail here. If I click on it, I'll switch over onto the POS side. And then down here, you can always link your account. So if you click on retail, click link accounts, and you'll be able to link your profile together so that it's the same login on both pages. So now that I'm on the retail side, you can see I'm right away directed to my register. The first thing you're going to want to do in the morning is open that up. Now, before we get to there, I just want to highlight that if you do require any assistance, you can click on the help button down here, or you'll be able to navigate to our help center and go through there. If you want to go back to golf, you can always click on golf and it'll bring you right back. And then same thing, if you want to go to retail, you can click on golf and go to retail. So really quick and easy toggles between the two, and it brings you right to our sales screen. Now, opening the register, if we click on register, it's just going to show us our denominations. Now you can put each tender amount in there, or if you know exactly how much you're putting in, put in 150. I do recommend splitting it up just for speed, and I'm sure you don't want to watch me putting in each amount. I'm just going to put it in that dollar slot. I have $150 and hit submit count, and now I'm ready to process sales. So now I'm going to go right back to our tee sheet, and that's where we're going to start our webinar. Now, when we're looking at our tee sheet, you'll notice that there's a few icons and a few toggles that we can go between. So let me just kind of do a quick overview of what those look like. Now, on our tee sheet itself, you can see that we have our weather widget. What's nice about this is if you click onto it, it's a little bit cold where I am today. This is in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit, so don't worry. To me, it's not too bad, but it does give you a breakdown per hour of what's expected, and this does keep historically. So if ever you go back to an old date and you want to just see like maybe what was going on that day, you can click on it and see what was happening. And then on the side, you can just see a quick breakdown of the occupancy of the day, how many reservations, how many groups are coming in, the total amount of golfers, and how many carts have been reserved. So just a quick, really easy way to just see the overview of the day and what you're looking at. Over here, you can do a quick toggle to any calendar date and go through there. You can also toggle between your tee sheets. So right now I'm working off a multi-course setup, so I can go ahead and toggle between any of them. So really quick. Now, if I go up at the top of our tee sheet, if I click on our three dots, I can activate TV mode. That's really just if you want to put any pictures, advertisements on a separate screen in the Pro Shop, you can put it to TV mode. And we're going to come back to smart dates. So if I click on the next icon, add tee sheet, it's just going to add a tee sheet into view. I can have them independent of each other. I can make sure that this was maybe an old date. I can toggle back to today's date. Maybe I want this one to show next week, so I'll go to the 10th, and it'll show me all of the bookings on there. Now that smart date toggle that I had enabled over here is if I enable this one and I change the date on my right hand side, it's not going to do anything to the left hand T-sheet. It's going to keep it independent. Right now I have about 9 days separating the two, but on my left one, which is kind of considered your main T-sheet when we're looking at it in this view, we can click on another date and you can see that it's automatically going to change the T-sheet on our right hand side. So if you have a 9-hole facility that is front, back, you have split 9s, whatever it is, this is a good way if you wanted to keep it, for example, on the same date. Anytime you change dates, it's automatically going to change it on the right-hand side. You can add a third T-sheet view if you'd like, but if I go to add another one, I'm actually going to get an alert letting me know that my resolution's too small. I'm working off a laptop screen. If you do have a really big, nice monitor in the Pro Shop, you could add another T-sheet into your view. It's really just to make sure that the resolution and it's not too scrambled together if you're adding too many T-sheets at once. I can go ahead and exit out of them if I don't want to add it. You can also always disable your smart dates by toggling it off. And now if I change the date on the right hand side, it has no bearing. On the left hand side, it has no bearing on the right one. What's nice about the T-sheet is that there are some quick ways you can get back to the date you're looking for. So you can always click today. Sometimes customers will have the left hand side for their checking in. So if they're checking in golfers, they'll have the left hand side checking in golfers. But if we're going through on the right hand side, we can go through and actually change the date if phone calls are coming in and we want to make a booking of any kind. So that way you kind of have a full view of the day on your T-sheet. I'm going to go ahead and go back to full view. This you can print the T-sheet, or if you have any cards assigned to any bookings, you can go ahead and print those. This bell icon, super useful. So if you have it enabled, it's going to flash subtly red, letting you know that it's enabled. And this means that if you do anything on the T-sheet itself, it's not going to send a notification to a customer. So let's say you have a group booking, but you want to shift them down a little bit. You want to join a twosome with another twosome. You can move them up into a booking, but not necessarily trigger emails to the customer, letting them know that you've made edits to the booking. Another thing to note about this setting is that it's only going to impact the computer you're actually on. So if you're doing something, let's say in the office, or you're just making quick adjustments to the T-sheet, it's not going to impact any other computer on the T-sheet that's going to be managing or doing anything. So it's a quick, really easy way to go through there. And then you'll notice that as soon as I click this wrench icon, that T-sheet mute notification setting automatically enables. Because you're making an adjustment to the T-sheet, the system knows that you probably don't want notifications going out to the customers. This, you will be limited based off whether or not you're an assistant, or, depending on your employee role, your permissions can change. You'll notice on the left-hand side, my modules have kind of gone compact. I can click the 3 lines at the top to expand it again. Right now, I'm logged in as an assistant, so I will be restricted in the permissions that I do have. But if you are a manager or owner, you can block or unblock the T-sheet. As an assistant, I can block a tee time. So I can go here to blocks, make sure that nobody can make bookings in those tee time slots. I can either unblock them as well. So I can go ahead and unblock those. If I click and press shift on my keyboard, it'll select each one in between those bookings. I can do the same thing for deselecting. Another option you do have on the T-sheet is you can squeeze a tee time. So you'll notice when I click it, nothing happened, because as an assistant, I don't have permission to do that. But as an owner, it would create, or a manager would create a booking slot right under the tee time you have selected. So that if, let's say you wanted to squeeze someone in for the back 9, kind of gives managers or owners permission to do that, but not necessarily everybody, not each employee. Another thing is if you click promote, you will be able to kind of go through and create an online deal. You will need Stripe, the payment gateway, enabled in order to do so. From here, you can create a discount if you wanted to create a 10% discount on 18 round fees just for your 3 p.m. You only want this used twice, so only the first 2 golfers can benefit from this discount. You can go ahead and click save. And now if you hover over it, you can see that discount applied. So anytime you see this fire icon, I already had some online deals created that a manager or owner had created for me. And so you can already see that I had some enabled. So it's a good way to kind of quickly see what you're promoting. It's a good way if you have any really early or last minute tea times that you just want to make sure that customers are kind of incentivized to book. You can make those quick discounts available to them. Now to disable the rent, you can either you can either click this X button at the very bottom, or if you disable it, at the top, it will disable both of them. So super easy. Now for this last one, we're going to make some bookings. So super easy to make a booking. If someone's calling in, you can either hover over however many slots they're making a booking for, or you can click the 4 and you can see each of the player cards appear. Now, as you type through, you'll see the spinning next to the word guest. As soon as I get to 3 characters, it's going to start pulling from my database. So I can see that I'm already a customer. So it changed me right away to that full member on the profile. I can add others to the booking. So I can search. Again, it's going to populate right here. It's going to have their information. If I wanted to create a brand new customer, I can type the last name. You can see, oh, no, it's neither of these 2 that are popping up. So let me add the first name. Oops. From here, you can see that it still says guest because I haven't added enough information for the system to save the customer. So I either need to add a phone number or an email so that it gets saved into my database. You'll notice that as soon as I put a phone number, it changes from guest to new customer. So you can see right away that because I've added a phone number, I'm actually adding this customer to my database. So it's a really quick, easy way to add customers and make sure that the database is as full as possible. It's super important. You can also always ask for an email. It's just a really good way to be able to contact the customer should there be a frost delay, whatever it is. It's a really good idea to ask for their email just so that it's in the database and then you just have all their most accurate information on their reservation. Now, let's say they don't know exactly who they're playing for. You can just leave the guest blank because we've collected enough information on the booking in order to save it. So we're all good on this front. From here, at the top, the last few things you can make adjustments for is you can choose whether or not they're playing 18 or 9 holes. So if I switch to 9, you'll see all the pricing will adjust for that 9-hole price, but they're going to make an 18-hole booking, so I can leave it there. On the left-hand side, you'll see that I have some other options available to me. I can go ahead and I can apply discounts. So for example, my member Chelsea already has some packages. So I can go ahead and click package and say, you know what, I'm going to give it to 2 of my guests. So I can go ahead and hit apply. And if I want to, it will apply to these bookings. So it really does allow you to kind of go through and add those things. Otherwise, I can also click on add products. I like going through the add product section because it allows you to pick and choose exactly what items you're adding and to which golfers. So let's say everybody wants to take a cart. Because they're already selected down here below, I can go ahead and click half cart and it will add the item. If the error pops up, it just means that they're missing from the price sheet. Now, only managers and owners can go through there, can add those. So I can also just quickly remove them to be like, you know what, I'm not entirely sure what price this should be. Let me add the 1-person cart. Just because this one has a price, I now know I need to go adjust my price sheet. So I can add them in here. You can see the price changes depending on the player type associated to the customer. So we can go ahead. We can also add any kind of pull. Let's say someone wants to pay pull cart. They're all taking range buckets. I can go ahead and click save now. Now my booking is saved. I'm good to go on there. You can quickly see what player types are associated to the booking. Otherwise, so now we have this one. But now let's say someone comes in and they want to make a booking for themselves and 2 other foursomes. So we'll take Brian's information. We added him in. You can, again, always add. And if they don't know who they're playing with exactly yet, you can leave them blank. And now I can go ahead to that next one where it says that clone reservation. So I can pick and choose how many times I'm going to make a copy of this exact reservation. If you add a cart to the booking and then clone it, it'll add the green fee and cart to each subsequent booking. So it kind of allows you to make those quick group bookings at once. So I'm going to actually clone this 3 times, and I'll go ahead and click clone. So now you can see it's taken up 4 foursomes have been added to the tee sheet, all under Brian's name, all there. So that's where you can activate that bell icon and maybe just change the information around. You can make sure so that Brian doesn't get so many emails that it's been, the booking's been edited or whatever. It's those little things that you can kind of make the customer's life a little bit easier and going through there. Now, one of the other things that we can do is recur a reservation. What's important to note about recurring a reservation is that if I open up an existing one, you can see above my plain icon and below clone, I have no other icon. If I open up a brand new reservation, you can see I have this recur option. So I'll add our member to this one. I can search by the first name. I can search by phone number. I can search by email. I will have to remember someone's email. I'll just put my own. See, it's searching, says that it matches that field, and it'll add all my information and change it. So you can search, each of these boxes are able to be searched. Another good thing to kind of note is that these little icons at the top are actionable, so you can click on it and just see a really quick view of like how long they've been a customer for, when will their membership expire, their rounds played. You know, if you add a picture, you'd be able to see a picture of the customer, and you also have a quick view of opening their profile. So it's a quick way to kind of add them in. And now I'll go ahead and click on recur reservation. You have 4 options. No recurrence, so it's leaving it as is. Daily allows you to pick how many days and how often, so every 3 days, every 4 days, every 5 days. Weekly will let you pick which days of the week. So let's say they only want to play Monday, Wednesday every week, and they're going to end it at the end of the month. Or I can also choose monthly, which gives me the option of the month. I can pick the day, whatever it is. But I'm going to go back to weekly, and I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday until the end. As soon as I click recur reservation, you're going to see now an icon on the left-hand side letting you know that it's actually been a reservation that's going to be linked. If I go to Wednesday, you'll see that it's already been created for me. So it just kind of makes that copy. So those groups that play usually at the round at the same time each week, or, you know, they want to kind of give an insight into, you know, if you want to kind of give them first pick at their preferred bookings because they play so often, you can kind of do that, and it makes it really quick and easy to make those reservations for them. So now we have our tee sheet full, but let's say I wanted to make a note or leave a note for this day before, you know, they start getting checked in and stuff. You'll notice on the left-hand side, we have this notepad. As soon as it's yellow, you know it's an internal note. So you can leave a note in here for the staff that's visible to the staff. This is usually left by the manager or owner. So you can see I can't click into it as the assistant. And you can also see what note is being left on top of the booking widget. This booking widget is actually what booking widget note is going to appear at the very top, and it will stay there indefinitely until you remove it. So you can see here that I had just make sure you're wearing a mask around the clubhouse and thanks for coming for a round. So it allows you to kind of leave a note, and it'll stay there indefinitely. But if you wanted to leave a note that is specific to that tee sheet, if you click this icon up on the right hand side, you can click add a private note, and you can see there's no, it's an internal note. So frost delay possible, as you can see by the temperatures today. Please advise guests. As soon as I click save, it's going to appear at the top of my tee sheet, and it's only going to be visible on today's date. So if I scroll down, it's going to be attached to the very top of my screen. If I switch to tomorrow's date, it's not going to appear for me. So when you're leaving a note that's really specific to that date, let's say you have a booking coming through, you have a specific event, it's a good way to attach it to that T-sheet to remind the staff. Now, you'll notice that when I click on here, I only have an option for my private note. That is because I'm logged in as an assistant. As a manager, you'd have the same option as the notepad on the bottom left as you do up on the T-sheet. So you'd be able to create a public note that would appear on the booking widget or when they're on their confirmation, wherever it is, specific to the date they're making a booking. So if I'm making a booking for the 5th, it's going to appear on the booking widget. If I'm making a booking for the 6th, it's not going to appear. So it's a good way to kind of pick and choose what you're communicating with them. Some uses of these notes can include anywhere from frost delays to promotions to specials in the restaurant, whatever it is, it just gives you that ability to communicate with the customers. So it's a good way to kind of go through and see those options. Now I'm ready to check in my golfers. So you have a couple different ways you can do that. If I'm checking in one golfer because my member came in alone, I can go ahead, open their booking, and just click take payment. As soon as I click on that, on the right hand side, the point of sale is going to open. You can see those range balls that I added, my cart, all there. Going to go ahead and click payment. Because they're a member that has a house account, I can go ahead and charge it to their account directly, and it shows me the balance available to the credit available. I'll go ahead and just click max so that it takes the whole amount, and I'll go ahead and finish sale. As soon as I close, you're going to see that it's marked me as arrived and as paid, so you can see I've paid for everything in my booking, which makes things very simple. I can go ahead and take payment for more than one golfer, so I can go ahead and say, hey, you know what? By default, all of them are going to be selected, so I'm going to say, you know what? Dylan and Shannon are paying together, so I can go ahead. And if you have Stripe configured, you can charge the credit card directly from the T-sheet, or you can click on register and click take payment, and it's that same process where the golfer is being checked in. We have all their items. We have them all set in. We'll go ahead. And again, we have that account option. So I'll finish the sale. So quick, super easy. You can see we can print the receipt and then we close it out and everyone's marked as arrived and is paid. If I hit save, you can see the difference between our bookings on there. And you'll notice really quickly that beside Brian, that the guests are italicized. That's letting you know that not enough information has been added into that player's card so that they can be saved into the database. So it's a really good way to kind of see those different items. Now, let's say the last guest come in. I don't actually need to click into the reservation. I can click this register icon on the right-hand side because it'll just send anything that hasn't been paid together into the point of sale. So again, no customer's been attached, no member. So I can go ahead and say they clicked Amex and we'll finish sale. Don't worry if I'm going too fast through the payment side of things. I am going to slow it down when we kind of go through adding different items and everything and going through the sale process. So you can see here we have everyone checked in. We're ready to go. Now, let's say Brian called in and he's canceling his booking because they couldn't make it, or that frost delay is going to impede them too much. You can go ahead and click on the time, click on each of the reservations that you're selecting, and you can go through there. Otherwise, if you're a manager or an assistant, you will have the option to actually mass cancel. So I'm going to switch my login so that we can go through that process. If you give me, so we're going to come back to that so that we can see exactly what it looks like, and we can navigate the remaining of the tools on the T-sheet. So this is just a good opportunity to see the difference between our employee roles. So as an assistant, you really have accesses, but we want to make sure we're being super aware on what we have access to. So if I go ahead and refresh my page, we're going to be able to see that my icons are actually going to update a little bit on the top side of our T-sheet. So now when I'm looking at it, I've switched views. I'm now a manager. I now have all my elevated views. You can see that my modules have actually changed on the left-hand side. So now that Brian's called in, instead of opening each booking one by one, you can see there's a new icon for me because I've logged in as a manager. So I can go ahead and click mass cancel. It's going to pick and choose. I can also select specific golfers if I want to. But in this case, Brian's called in and he's going to cancel the entire thing. So I can click on proceed. It's going to ask me to confirm just to make sure that I actually want to do this. And I can go ahead and click delete, clearing out my tee sheet really quickly. And then we'll scroll down. And now you can see that all of them have been now made available. And I can actually go through the rest of my day. Another important icon that you can see that has just appeared is this little paper plane icon. If I click on that, this will give me the ability to send a message to my the players on the tee sheet. If I scroll to the very, very top, you can see I can select all. So I'll select everybody that has an email or phone number attached. And you can see right here which emails are associated to it. I can click create message. And this will also allow me to send out an email. So for that frost delay, just letting them know that the frost delay is that you really want to make sure that what you're communicating on these messages are just short-term alerts, last-minute messages. Like that's what it's designed for, so that you could just get quick messages out to everybody on the tee sheet and to just give them a heads up. Let's say you get unexpected rain and the golf course is going to be closed for the remainder of the day. You really want to get that email out to them really quickly. And then on the other side, you can also, if you've collected their cell phone numbers, you can also send an SMS text message to their profiles. So that's a good way to communicate with the members. Now, if we want to open up this booking, because now they're ready to check in, I can see that I have a prepaid round, so I can go ahead and click apply. But because I'm on a Sunday booking, I can't actually make that booking. So if I click apply, you're going to see that this discount is not allowed because it's on a day of the week that is restricted for this particular package. So let me go to tomorrow's date where we still have that booking because we had it recurring. We're going to open this up and now I'm going to apply that round. Actually, we're going to switch. We're going to go to our cart pass booking. I'll add a cart. Perfect. I'm actually going to switch to the half cart. Perfect. So we're going to add that booking. We're going to actually apply our cart pass. It's going to turn to purple, letting you know that it's actually been applied. So you see one version where there's been an error because it's been outside the restrictions. That's totally normal. It just means that the customer can't use the package at that time and it's working as we want it to. When we can apply the package, you're going to see it very clearly. It's going to be purple. It's very different from the one below. You can go through there. If for whatever reason you applied the wrong package or you applied anything, if you click the three dots and scroll down a little bit, you can also remove the discount. So you can remove it and it removes it from the total. So we'll apply that one more time just to make sure that it's there. So really easy. We got everything going. We're going to go ahead and click. We're actually going to clone this because I want to show you how you can check out a golfer. So unlike a recur, we can clone the reservation at any point. So we'll clone this. That's perfect. So now we have a fair amount of golfers that are going to be coming through the pro shop. But let's say everybody's paying together. What you can do is click on the tee times and then click payment. Or if you'd like, another way you can go about it is if you're on the tee sheet, you can also just click payment to open that up. It's whatever you prefer. You can also pick and choose particular golfers that are all paying together. It doesn't necessarily have to be the entire tee time, but if it is, you can just click on the left-hand side. Now, you can choose which customers are paying for this item, for these bookings, lost my train of thought. You can switch to see who's paying for it, and that's just going to be the customer that's attached to the sale. So you can go through there. If I go ahead and click take payment, because I'm in the sales screen, I do also have the option. Each time you're in this screen, you're in this view, you have the option of searching some items. So let's say they're adding a hoodie to their booking, to their sale. I can add that. I can go ahead and add some chips. I can go through there I can also click change the quantity if they've all decided to get a hoodie. Really, you're in the sales screen, so you're really able to add any items that you want while you're in here. It's just to make sure that the reservations get marked as arrived and as paid on the T-sheet. So we'll go ahead and click payment. You can see that I don't have enough to cover the entire balance, but I can go ahead and still click max and it'll give me my balance. Now, your screen can look slightly different than mine when you're looking at it on your screen. If you're using integrated payments versus non-integrated payments, it does change the view a bit. I don't have payment processing configured on this account specifically because it's my demo account. So you can see that's why I have all the different payment type denominations listed below. If you don't see Amex, MasterCard, debit, and Visa, it's because right next to where it says gift card, you're going to see an option that says credit/debit. If you click on that, that will start your payment. So now for my remaining balance, I can go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to say that they paid Visa. When you click max, it's just going to put the remaining amount. And there you go. I can go ahead and hit finish sale. I'll close this screen. And now everybody I selected has been marked as paid. So there's a lot of quick and easy ways you can check out golfers. We always recommend that you go through and practice. It's really important to practice anything you're doing on the system, just so that you get more comfortable with it. The more you do it, the more you're gonna learn and the more you're gonna get comfortable. We do also void out anything you do before you go live with the system. So if you're a brand new customer, go ahead and play around. If you're a new employee at a golf course that is using our system, you can always go to maybe an old day, make a booking. Just ask your manager or your supervisor how they would prefer for you to practice, and they'll be able to point you in the direction. You do want to make sure, if you're using a live account and an account that's been using the system for a little bit, that you're using it wisely. So just double check with your managers or supervisors just to be sure. But we do always recommend that you practice. So now, let's say they came in and they weren't actually checking out, or they finished their round and they wanted to purchase an item in the pro shop. So what you're going to do, you can again make that shortcut, just click retail and you're into the retail side. Now I'm logged in as an associate, so you can see I'm restricted on the left hand side of what I have access to in terms of modules, which is set by our managers and owners and everything, the head pros. So from here, I can go ahead and click new sale, and it's going to bring me to that same screen we saw on the T-sheet. It's the exact same thing. It's the same screen. You're pulling from the same items. From here, you can see that I have these colorful buttons. These are shortcuts. So they're shortcuts whether they're into your inventory, to your different avenues that you're looking at. This is what you're going to be looking for. Now, when you're starting a sale, we always recommend that you add a customer. It will make it easier to find receipts if they come in to return anything or exchange things. It makes things super easy to understand how often they're coming to the pro shop, and just kind of elevates your ability of what information you can see for the customer. Up here, you can search your database. If I search for myself, you'll be able to see I do have 2 profiles, and I should clean that up. That's not ideal for this, but I can go in here. I can search a hoodie in my items. When you're searching, if you're clicking into the item bar, you can search as I did by typing, or if you have a barcode scanner, you can scan it. Otherwise, you can also use your custom menu button. So right now, instead of searching for my golf balls, I can go ahead and click golf balls. If I wanted to go to a specific brand, I could click on Titleist. Otherwise, I can go ahead and go to our sleeve, and add it to the sale. Super easy. Different ways you can look for things. You can type them in and add it really quickly. It's really up to you, however you find it the easiest and quickest way to do it. If there's a discount or a promotion, if you have the employee permission to do so, if you click on the item, you're also able to apply a discount. Now, you can tell when I click on the item itself, I can't change any prices. I can't change any of this information. That has to do with my employee permissions. So if you're a manager watching this is a really good way to, as we mentioned in our manager operations webinar, it's really important to understand the employee roles and what access you're giving to your employees. So this is a good way to just understand what it looks like from their perspective. So for me, I can apply a discount because I've been granted that access. So I can go ahead and hit save and see the discount. Now, there are reports as a manager or owner that you can go in and see which discounts have been applied and by which employees. So that's why we always encourage you to have employee logins per employee and per individual so that you can see those things. Now, once I'm finished, I can go ahead and click payment just as I did for any of our other ones. I can go ahead and click Amex and finish sale. So it's super easy, super quick stuff to do. We can go through all those different items. Now, we want to make sure that we understand how to pay for things if we're using gift cards. So if we're going through here, I can make sure that when I'm navigating to these items, I'm going through and just making sure that we're adding it in. So if let's say we're going to add each of these, that's perfect. We'll go to the range bucket. We'll just add a bunch of our items in there. That's perfect. And then we'll go ahead and click on our gift card module so that we can see which gift cards we're going to be using. So now that we're taking payment, now depending on which gift card module you're actually using, now if you see this gift card button in the middle of your screen, you're going to want to click that one. So we're going to go ahead and click gift card. If I put one of my gift cards, I can go ahead and click search, and it's going to actually pull up an existing gift card. You'll be able to see the balance. You'll be able to see the amount. You can either withdraw off the card or you can refill it. So you can go ahead, if someone wants to top up their gift card, you can do it from here. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and withdraw the card. See, my balance is down to 0. That's okay. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And if I click on our payments now, you can see that payment has already been applied. So you just have to click on payment in order to see it, and so that you can see the remaining balance. So just like that, we can also go in and say that, you know what, $30 is going to be Amex and the rest is going to be on Visa. So you can split your payments based off what the customer wants. You're not restricted in that way. You can determine how much they're giving you, and then you can go ahead and finish sale. So it accomplishes all the same things. It's just making sure you know which gift card you're going through. Now for this one, I'm just going to pull a gift card that exists. So I'm just going to, I actually don't think I have any of our Lightspeed ones created. That's fine. I can go ahead and click new sale. When I go ahead and add anything to our item, so if I add a medium bucket and click payment, if I click this gift card button, this is where you can scan your gift card. So if you're not using Loyal Action, if you haven't heard that term before, chances are you're using our Lightspeed native module, which is totally a great module as well. So you would just put in your gift card number, click go, and then you'd be able to remove off of it. So you can see here, we have our gift card. You can see that we have $7 remaining. I'll go ahead and click charge to remain that off. So it's the same concept as our other gift card module. If you're unsure which one you're using, feel free to either ask our chat team on the bottom right of your screen, or you can also ask the implementation consultant in your next training just to make sure you know which one you're going to be doing. So we can go ahead and just click cash for the final amount. So a lot of different ways you can take payment. It's just a matter of being comfortable and understanding what you're going, navigating to and what you're doing. But now let's say someone comes in and they want a refund or they want to exchange an item they purchased. You have a couple different ways you can go about this. So again, this is going to be specific to your employee permissions. If you're looking at this screen, if you click on sale again, you're going to come to here and you're going to notice that I actually don't have permission to do a refund under this employee login, which is totally normal. So if I go to our customers, I can go ahead and click on one that I just pulled up. If I go to that sales tab, which is going to pull up all our different information from the customer. Now, everything I'm looking at is specific to my employee view, which we always like that we can restrict what we're looking at and what we're navigating towards. But for this purpose, we're going to go ahead and change employees just to make sure that we have the right one. Perfect. So now we're on our manager one. So if you didn't see that, let me show you one more time. So I have the ability to just change employees really quickly. So if you have a PIN associated to your login or to your employee profile, which is something we covered in our manager operations webinar, you can just click change employees so that you can quickly change the login that you're in. So it changes your permissions. So now from here, if I click on sales again, you can see I have quite a few more options. So this is where your employee permissions will really have an impact and really be able to see those things. So now I can either click on refund from here if I don't have a receipt or I'm trying to just start a refund without a transaction associated to it. But for this purpose, I'm going to show you the impact of adding that customer to the sale has. So we're going to go ahead and click customers. I'm going to click on our customer base again. I'm going to search for myself and I'll click on my name. And then here we can see our sales. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but before when I clicked on here, none of these numbers were clickable. Because I was restricted in what I could see on a transaction, I couldn't actually open it up and see the history on it. But because I've elevated my own permissions by changing the login I'm logged into, I can go ahead and click on the number. And from here, I can actually start a refund. So as soon as I click on refund, it's going to bring me back to that sales screen. You can see that the buttons look different than they did before. And that's just because we have a new tab open. So we're on our refund tab. I can click on the item that I'm refunding to add it back to the sale. You can see that it takes into account that discount we had applied originally. And now we can see that we owe $76 back to the customer. If I click on payment, you'll see that our payment methods are now this orangish color versus it being green, allowing us to go through and put it on. I can either refund to their account, so back onto their house account if I wanted to, or I can refund them in cash. Now, as a manager, if you want to limit this would just be a setting. So if, for example, if someone paid by Amex and you only want it refunded as an Amex, that is a setting you can control. Just bring it up with your implementation consultant and they will be actually be able to walk you through how to make that adjustment. So for this one, I'm actually not going to complete this refund. What I'm going to do is start an exchange. So from my refund tab, we can see that we owe our $76, but they actually just want to change the sleeve. They actually just want to change these items for another golf ball. So I can go ahead and click item, can click golf ball. Let's say they want to add the Chrono Max 123. We'll add it to the sale and you can see that it's updated to $20. So it's taken the difference. So now we're exchanging those two items for this dozen golf balls. If I click on payment, it's still going to be in orange because we still owe money back. It's just now taking into account the negative quantities going back into our inventory and the amount going back that we're selling again. So for this one, we're actually going to go back onto the account and finish sale. So now we've processed that refund. That's as easy as it is. Now this is, again, something you want to practice. There's nothing more stressful than when a customer is standing in front of you and you're trying to get your bearings on what you should be clicking on for a refund. Obviously, as I go through it, that's how comfortable I've gotten because I practice. I go through it. I give these webinars. I give trainings, of course, but it's through practice that you really start to understand where you're clicking and what you're going through. So now we've gone through there. Let's just tidy up and go through a couple more things that we are we want to make sure we're comfortable with. One of the last things we're going to cover is our rain checks. Now, not every golf course uses them, but it's important to know how we can create them and how we're going to use them. So now we have our golfers that we've marked as paid from today, but we did have that frost delay. So maybe they didn't get their full round in. So now what you can do is open up that booking. I'm going to go to our public golfer and I'm going to click on these three dots and click rain check. This is going to open it up. You can see this code, which I'm going to copy because I'm going to show you how we can redeem this right after. You can see the total amount spent by Dylan at the golf course. It takes into account all of it. You can say that only played 50% of the round, so he's getting a rain check for that amount. Or you can also put how many holes. So you can, there we go. You can put it in there, or from here, that's where you can put in the fraction, So you could say that they played 6 holes, they played 12 holes. You can kind of make that adjustment. For this example, we're gonna do a 50% one. As soon as we click create, it's gonna create that code. Again, I'm just gonna copy it just to make sure you can see which employee it issued it on, and you have the option to print it for the customer. So it's a good way to kind of go through it, and you can see that the booking gets updated for a rain check. So when we're looking at the T-sheet itself, you can see that a rain check's been created for this booking. It's good if ever you go to any other T-sheet from a previous day and want to see who got rain checks, you'd be really able to tell really quickly on the T-sheet. Now, let's say tomorrow on this booking, we have Aria coming in, but let's say we're just going to remove Aria so that we can put Dylan in. Really quick. Saw those 3 dots, remove player, it removes the entire person from the booking. Go ahead and add Dylan in. We can see we're gonna add a cart again, and we're gonna add another large bucket. So we have our 62, perfect. I'm just gonna hit save just to make sure. And then again, just like I showed previously, we're just gonna click this register icon on the right-hand side. Quick and easy. So we have everything attached for Dylan. We're going to click this rain check button right on the top side of the screen. It's going to open our redemption screen where we can paste or scan our barcode scanner with that. But because I had already copy pasted it, makes it pretty quick for me. I'll go ahead and click redeem and confirm. It was redeemed successfully. And now you can see that rain check's been applied. So now all Dylan owes is that 93 cents. So you can go ahead and click cash and finish sale. So super easy to redeem rain checks. It's just a matter of whether or not you do use them and what you, if you use them at the golf course, but that's how you would redeem them. So really quick and easy, just a matter of practice, right? It's all we want to do is want to make sure we're going through and practicing as much as possible. Now, if I wanted to sell a golf gift card to a customer, because they come in, especially during the holiday season, a lot of gift cards are being purchased or ahead of the season for golf courses, you can go ahead and click gift card. From here, you have the option of manually entering, or if you have one of those MagStripe readers specifically for your gift cards, you can put it in there, or you can just manually type it in, whichever you prefer. Go ahead and click search. You can tell this is a brand new card that we're creating. There's no status, meaning it's not found. We're going to sell $150 and click create. You always want to make sure you have this confirmation screen popping up when you're selling a gift card, and then you could just click OK, and it brings you back to your sale. You'll always be able to see the gift card number you've just activated. It's always a good opportunity to just confirm that it's the right number on the screen. Now from here, checkout as normal. You can go ahead and click payment. In this instance, they paid by cash. Finish sale, and now your gift card's activated. So really easy when you're going through your sale process. There's a lot, as you can tell, every time I'm doing a sale, I'm trying a different way of doing it. It's a matter of finding what flow works best for you and what's going to make you the most comfortable in the system. That's all we're aiming towards, right? Is the more comfortable you are, the more easy it becomes. So we really want to make sure that we're practicing and getting into that system. Now, the end of the day is finished. You're going to go through your system. You're going to be finishing your day. Now, if I click on the sales screen again, just like when I was starting that refund process, I can go from here. I can now close the register. Now, if you don't have access, or if as a manager you're not granting access to closing registers to the employees, the option is a blind close. So a blind close you'd have to grant them access to do a drop, which allows them to open up here. It looks very similar to when you're opening or closing a register, where they're able to put in their amount. They're removing cash, and they can say end of day deposit, and then click withdraw so that it logs in the system that money has been removed and who did it, which employee. So it's a good way to not let them know on a confirmation basis of like that they were accurate, but it allows them to go through and remove it. And what I mean by that is that if they do go through the close register process as normal, so this, you want to make sure you're doing this at least at the end of each day. It's going to be easier for reporting because there are reports on closing every time you close your register. It allows you to segment your sales on a like per shift basis if you want. There's a lot of flexibility when you're closing your register. So if I go ahead and click on close register, you can see there's a little bit more information on this screen. So that's why some golf courses limit who has access to it. The start is that starting count that we started off the webinar with, the payments that we made throughout, and so what total should be in the register. So if they go ahead and put in the denominations, they can go through there just like we did with the starting count. Otherwise, I can go ahead and put in my amount to 305, perfect. And now you can just batch out, make sure that everything matches perfectly down here. Again, you could put a note if you want to. When you click submit counts, you're actually going to see that there was a short over. So before I save and actually confirm that this is actually right and this is what I want it to look like, be like, oh, you know what? I forgot to put the change in. Maybe you just made a mistake. Those things happen. So from here, you can just click redo count. And you can also just do perfect and 3. Be like, it was perfect, submit counts, and now I can just double check, okay, perfect, I have no short or over, and click save counts. And now your register is closed. You do have the option of printing this off if you'd like to. The same screen appears if you're doing the withdraw on the blind close, so you can always add that into your deposit if you'd like. It's just a matter of establishing your standard operating practices so that the staff knows exactly what to do and how you'd like them to do it. Now, that is what I wanted to go over with you today. I hope you learned something about the system. I hope it made things a little bit clearer for you. Now, as we go through, we did get to cover our booking management, our basic sales. We did cover our refunds and exchanges and how to open and close our register. Now, what's next? Practice. You heard me say it throughout the webinar. You want to practice. You want to get into the system. You want to make sure you're comfortable. Then following that, the recap training one-on-one will happen with your implementation consultant. If you haven't confirmed that, make sure you do. That is a very important training. It's to make sure that everything you've learned in your previous trainings makes sense and that you're getting more and more comfortable with the system. So really important that you attend that training. And then also you'll get a recap of this email. It will be sent to whichever email was registered for the webinar. So you will get an email with resources highlighting things I covered today, as well as a recording to this webinar. So you will get access to that. And then don't forget, we have that onboarding checklist, the webinar recording, and the Help Center articles. If you haven't already, don't forget to bookmark the Help Center just to make sure you have really quick access to those items and you can get more comfortable with everything. So I want to thank you for your time today. I hope you learned something. I hope you are getting more comfortable and getting excited to start using the system. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to your implementation consultant. I'll also stay online for a couple more minutes, so if anybody has anything, feel free to pop it into the chat. I'm more than happy to help. And if not, have yourself a great day, and I hope get to speak soon and hope you get into the system as quick as possible. So thanks so much.